Welcome, Greek U Nation, to episode number 694 of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mike Ayalon, CEO of Greek University. I'm a speaker and an author. Our ninth book just came out. It's called From Letters to Leaders, The Legacy of Service. So I want you to go pick up that book on Amazon today. We call these episodes the Fraternity Foodie Podcast because there is nothing like great food to bring college students together. Fun fact, I'm hearing from college students all over the country that AI is taking over all of the entry-level jobs. Is that fact or is that fiction? I'm bringing an AI power user to the show today to tell us the honest truth. Lizette Espinosa has lived many career lives. After defending clients in court and later building an e-commerce business, she faced a business pitfall in 2023 that made her think she might lose everything. That moment forced her to pivot and look outside the box. Her search led her to AI. Her husband had been using AI for 2 years. Lizette had been using it for 6 weeks when she saw what she was building and said, "You are a monster." Today, Lizette is the co-founder of System and Soul AI, where she is passionate about helping humans run and grow their businesses with AI by teaching them how to use it with clarity, confidence, and humanity. Welcome to the show, Lizette.
Well, it is so good to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited about talking about this. You know, I told you earlier, I'm like such a nerd about certain things, and AI is one of them.
Hey, listen, I'm a nerd as well. So just, think of this as a conversation among mutual nerds that
Nice.
love using AI every single day. So I love it. I think it's going to be a great conversation. It's going to be very useful for our college students. Now, you've had an incredible career journey. I mean, you went from attorney to entrepreneur to AI strategist. Looking back at your career, tell us what moments best prepared you for where you are today.
You know, I have to say, everything is almost a little bit of 2020 hindsight. So I had to look forward to realize, oh my God, everything that I've done now is coming together. So even though they seem different, everything is tied together. So I actually absolutely love the law and business. It is amazing. It's so fun. It took me, even though I litigated, and I was a really good litigator. I'm really good with facts. Um, I really appreciate business and law. I was like, I don't want to be fighting people, right? So business is so much more fun. And then tying AI to it afterwards, it's one of these pieces where like it amplifies me that I can get through everything so much faster. But again, 2020 hindsight, and I had to at first, because I've lived so many career lives, I actually was a little bit ashamed. I was like, oh my God, I don't think I can stay at places long enough. But right now, that's actually has been a gift and a strength. So if anybody's ever going through that where you're doing different things, just know they're going to build on something and they're going to tie at the end that you're always where you're supposed to be. So it was more forward looking where I had to assess.
I love it. Very
Yeah.
nice. Now, a lot of us have mentors in our lives, and I don't think the college students have enough mentors. I think they need more mentors than they have. So, was there one mentor who fundamentally changed the way that you lead or the way that you think about business?
I had one in particular. Her name is Renee. And this was when I started Infant Tech, the e-commerce company. So my husband and I created a baby monitor for cars. And I went from going into law, but not really having the business fundamentals. And she was a mentor who specifically knew that industry and really even business. And if it wasn't for her, there's so much that I learned from her. But this is such a great question because I'm such a big believer in teams. I don't know, somewhere along the line, we came to believe that we operate by ourselves, but we do not. So I actually always tell people, how quickly can you build your team? And that includes your mentors, who's led the path in front of you, who actually has done something that you want to do, who do you admire? Because you'd be surprised, people really want to help. I'm in there, like even for law school for me, if I have anybody that wants to get to law school and wants to pass the bar, I'm like the first one to tell you, here, talk to me and I'm going to support you in how to get there or how to do it. So same thing's going for business.
Yeah, Lizette, it's so interesting that you said that because I agree with you. What's so fascinating to me is that millennials, they love doing group work, and then Gen Z comes around and they're all lone wolves. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, you want to build a business? Like, if you want to build a multi-million dollar business, you have to have a team. You have nobody but yourself. How are you going to build a multi-million dollar business? I mean, I can show you how to build a $25 million annual business, but you got to have a team around you and you need mentors, people who have been there and who've done that. You're not by yourself. There's always somebody else who's one step ahead of you, and they would love to mentor people. So, yeah, I totally agree with what you're seeing and experiencing. Totally. Um,
Absolutely.
you mentioned that you had this business setback in 2023 that forced you to rethink everything. What happened to you, and what did that experience teach you about resiliency?
Well, thank you for asking. And, like, so 23 and, right now we're 2026. I have to say, even though it was a really challenging time, so in our e-commerce space, I had to make the decision to do a voluntary recall. We had a product and a consumer product good, and it was voluntary, but so I had to deal with my ethics, the piece of taking care of our customers, because we deal with first-time moms. And even though it was a tough decision, it was still an easy decision. It's like, no, it's the right thing to do. And it was probably one of my biggest growing moments. You know how they say you learn more from those tough moments than those successes? So, absolutely learned about resilience, learned about going through a fire, right? In the sense of me personally. And I've always said as an entrepreneur that actually my business grows when I grow. So this took me to the next level of having more confidence, standing by the decisions that I make, trusting myself, and kind of being okay with the fact that I can't please the world. So yes, I'm going to have those that are not going to be happy with some of the decisions that I make, or they have their certain judgments about maybe the way I did things, but I get to just own and trust that it was the best thing at that moment. And so right now talking about it, it was like, hey, it was hard, but it's made me a better business owner because of it.
Totally agree. My biggest failures were the biggest learning moments in my life. And it's so, again, interesting when we talk about Gen Z, they're deathly afraid of failure. And I'm like, no, that's like when I learned the most. I'm like, you shouldn't be afraid of it at all. Like, that's going to get you to the next level. You have no idea how important that is in terms of your career growth. The other thing too, I mean, you mentioned this company that you built, this award-winning technology company that was focused on family safety. There's a lot of entrepreneurs within Gen Z, especially because of the economy. A lot more of them are going into entrepreneurial businesses. So the question that I have for you is, how do these entrepreneurs know whether this idea that they have is actually worth pursuing?
Well, so I guess entrepreneurship 101. The first is you have to be solving a problem. So you might have a great idea, but if there's no problem that you're solving, then who's going to want it? So you've got to have the what problem are you solving? And then you're the solution, right? And that is usually the question. I've done pitch competitions, doing raising money and everything like that, and that's the number one. And then because of that, then what's your total addressable market? So if I've got the problem, and then how big is it? So when you answer those questions, and I'd say the third question would be, who's your target audience, right? What's the problem? What's the solution? And who are you solving it for? If your idea doesn't answer those three questions well, don't do it.
Yeah, that's excellent, excellent advice. And it was very succinct too, which I really, really like. So many people are out there giving advice of do what you love. Yeah, of course you want to do what you love. Of course you want to wake up and be happy every day because you're doing something that's meaningful. Totally get that. But what problem are you solving? Like that's the bigger question. If there's no problem that you're solving with doing what you love, then forget it. I mean, this is not an idea that's going to go anywhere. And I just want to save you the time and the hassle and the aggravation. What problem are you solving? Was that is absolutely on the nose, perfect in her assessments. All right. So, the other thing that I noticed about your media sheet that really stood out, you said that AI should not replace human judgment. It should amplify human capability. What did you mean by that?
Well, this is what I notice and how I think I use it. I really want people to think with AI, and I think that's a misconception, right? People think that AI is doing things for you, and it's like, oh, it's so quick and easy. But the more you can think with AI and use it as a partner, it will amplify you. So that's the distinction. And I feel that when you're better with AI. So, and when everybody says AI, that's so broad, right? So let's start with your learning language models, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, right? I believe that if it will make you a better communicator when you use AI correctly, because when you get an output that's not what you wanted, you have to then talk to it again and say, hey, that's not what I asked for. Give me this. So your communication is going to become more clear. You're going to be more confident in the outputs because, like, wow, this is exactly what I wanted. And if you're willing to iterate with it, your confidence goes up. So look at what it can bring you: efficiency, better communication, clarity, confidence. That's all about you. And I actually always use this. I love Game of Thrones analogy. Uh, and I always say AI is like your dragon. And it's like, hey, in that show, the ones that had the dragons had a little bit more power, right? However, you need to train your dragon and you need to own it. It's not the other way around. The AI is not maneuvering you, you're maneuvering and mastering it. So this is all about your amplification.
Yeah, that's really well said. Thank you for saying all of that. I think everyone looks at, the negatives, but they're not looking at the positives in terms of your own communication. So I really, really like that. I think that's really smart. So I guess, we're hearing both extremes. I mean, you're talking about AI as a partner that you mentioned. But then there's also people on the other side of the extreme that say that AI is going to replace everybody. So what's the truth?
Well, actually, they both are, depending on your point of view and perspective. Because let's just go back a little bit. I would say this: everything in life actually has the back of the hand, right? Everything has a pro and con, and depending on how do you wish to look at it. And then when it comes to AI, we've been here before. It's not the first time we've had a change in technology, right? We can go back to the moments of, imagine the workforce where we were using fax machines versus now it's emails, very little faxing, right? I'm going to date myself, but when I was in college, literally it was the first year of everybody getting an email. And we're like, email, what is this? Internet, what is this? Right? So we lived our generation, we were pre-internet, right? And it's like we're still here, we're surviving, and we're doing well. And so I think this is just the new generation. Is it probably a huge amplification of what we've seen? Absolutely. But if you embrace it rather than totally fight it, you actually can totally be winning with it. Now, from an example of, is it going to take jobs? I think it will take the jobs of the ones that don't know how to use it, right? So from the employee perspective, because I'm out there hiring people, I'm training the workforce themselves. I would rather have an employee that is using AI and is amplifying himself with it and being more efficient than the one who isn't. So, for example, I was talking to a university president a few weeks ago when they had this conversation that, imagine moving forward on your resume, you're going to write, hey, I'm an AI user and this is one of my assistant users. It's like I'm hiring two people versus the individual that's not using it. And so if I had to choose between both of you, I want the one that's amplified. And because they're going to be more efficient. And what my ultimate goal, this is me being an optimist, is that I would love that maybe we have 4-day work weeks, right? Because of AI. you're getting the same amount done in 4 days instead of five, that everybody now gets 3 day weekends because we're more efficient and you can have a happier workforce. I
Yeah,
think that's a win.
I
But again, it's
totally
a point of
agree.
view.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Gen Z is really focused on good work-life balance. We know
Mhm.
that, but yet they're deathly afraid of AI. And I'm like, no, like AI is going to help you get what is so important to you. Like, let's embrace this and not push it away. So, I totally agree. And that's really smart too. I like that about the AI user and really hiring two people as opposed to one. I think that's really smart. And if owners start thinking like that, I think that's incredible. Okay, now we know that we can use AI, any of these language models that you talked about, in order to finish assignments in college faster. I think we all agree on that. Are there any AI prompts that could help these students become better leaders?
Yes, and it's interesting because I don't necessarily remember how my premise is I want you to think with it. So I'm not the biggest fan of like you've got to have these set and library of prompts because then you're not going to be thinking, right? So what I could add is when let's say you're talking to in your language model, one of your GPTs, always have AI help itself, but it's like, hey, whatever I just wrote, how can I amplify this? So just that simple sentence at the end, amplify what I just created, or how do you create this in genius mode, right? Or is there anything I missed? Like knowing what I just described, did I miss anything? Please make sure to give me that information. And so start with your own communication with it and then ask it to amplify what you just said. That would be a nice way to prompt it, but this is your thinking.
Yeah, I agree. Always be thinking. Really, really good stuff. Now, we agree that AI is changing just about every profession on the planet. Especially if you're looking at a screen, it's probably going to be able to do that job. So like, you're a lawyer. We can talk about the medical field and doctors, right? AI is going to change these professions.
It
So
is.
what skills do you think going forward employers are going to value even more over the next 5 years as AI becomes more dominant?
One really, it's so again, thinking, right? You need to have good thinking skills, problem solving skills, adaptability. So because it's changing so quickly and it's iterating so fast, you are going to need to be able to adapt with it. So understand your base. And I'd say even the skills of being able to know when you have a problem. So ask the right questions, right? Like we talked about failure earlier and how we're so afraid of that. It's like kind of don't be afraid of that. Just say acknowledge when you have some like setback a little bit. It's like how do you learn from it and how do you take it to the next level? So those would be some of the things: resilience, adaptability, ask the right questions, and you're thinking clearly. That's someone I would like to hire and someone that's interested in what they're doing. But it's like, and my biggest thing too is how are you amplifying yourself as an individual? It's like I know that from a hiring perspective, I'm actually wanting to make sure that my employees are making themselves a better person because of the job that they're doing.
Got it.
So if you are somebody like if you're entering into the workforce, it's like, hey, how am I going to be better from this job? And what am I going to learn? And by the time I'm out of here, it's like, wow, I'm this much bigger.
Mhm.
That's the
Okay.
type of employee I want.
That makes sense. When I think about the CEOs that are out there today, many of them have essentially paused all of their hiring and firing. And, they're basically waiting on the sidelines, waiting to see what happens with AI. They don't want to go out and hire a whole bunch of people if AI is going to be doing all of that work. So they're just kind of like on the sidelines waiting to see what happens. No hiring, no firing. And I'm very close to a lot of entry level workers. Okay. My kids are in college. My son, believe it or not, he actually finished his data science degree in 2.5 years with a 4.0 GPA. Okay. Data scientist, right? But he's concerned that AI is going to be eliminating entry level data science jobs. Okay. So the question is, should he be worried? Or maybe should he just be preparing to enter the workforce differently?
That was a perfect question at the end. Be prepared to enter it differently. And so it might take away certain types of jobs, but it's also going to create new opportunities, right? Remember, there's always something new that's created. I actually have an undergrad also in economics, right? And economics, at the end of the day, it's always like what's existing. Look at things neutrally, and again, what is the new problem to solve? So how can you be a part of that new way to think of the workforce, right? So again, if I want the ones who are using AI because they're going to understand the systems. Because see, I'm not a big fan of agentic yet because and let me backtrack a little bit. I don't think employers are waiting on the sideline right now. They're more trying to figure out how to implement AI. So where I'm seeing at System and Soul AI is the employers that are wanting to amplify their existing workforce, right? And how do they make them better? So maybe that's the hold a little bit on the hiring, because they want to see what their existing workforce is doing, and they need to use it correctly, because there really is no standard training on this right now. It's a little bit of a wild, wild west. Um, but I would want the employee that knows how to run with it. And in the future, and actually it's happening now, you need the human that is managing an agentic workforce, because there always needs to be a human in the loop, right? So from a legal, wearing the legal hat and not giving legal advice, but there's still risks and liabilities that a company's going to have. And if they put these systems out there with no human reinforcement, that's going to create a problem. So at the end of the day, you always will need the humans that are going to be able to manage these systems.
Got
So
it.
that's how you have to look at it. It's like, how do I become the human in the loop with AI?
Got it. Okay. All right. I have another really interesting question for you, and I think you're the perfect person to ask because there's a lot of college students that would love to be in your place in terms of having a law degree and being a lawyer. That sounds like something that anybody would love to do for a career. And you have all of that knowledge base, which is it takes a lot of time to be an attorney. It takes a lot of money. You got to go to law school, all of those things. But then you pivoted and you became an entrepreneur, and then you saw AI and you're like, forget all of, everything else that I've done. I'm going straight into AI. And that's just a very brave attitude that you have. So I guess I'm wondering, how did you know when it was time to pivot to something new?
Well, first of all, it's not that I've left everything else either, right? It's like I've added on top of it. So this is a piece too. It's like the lawyer in me is still there. I actually take on some legal clients here and there. I use it in business all of the time. So the law is such a nice foundation for me, that doesn't go away. And I actually do recommend it for business owners. If you can get that combination of the JD MBA, it's a winning combo. And when it comes to pivoting, to answer your question there, I literally do say it's a soul piece. Like for me, it's like I feel this pull, like I'm going somewhere. It's like your soul knows when it's time to go to another direction. It's either you'll get an idea, maybe I should be doing this, or like this sounds good. And if it starts recurring, then maybe there's something to look at. Like for example, when I decided to go to law school, because it wasn't a clear path for me to do that. I was in undergrad, I did econ and public policy, not knowing I was going to go to law school, but those were perfect. Then I took 2 years off, and I was working for a TV station at the time. And I had a boss that was really passionate about what she did. And I asked myself, I want to be passionate about what I'm doing. Because at that moment, that job was just a job. And so one summer I'm driving home and I kept telling I should have been a lawyer. Then I said it 3 times in a matter of 2 weeks on those drives, that the third time I said it, I was like, why not? And as soon as I said that, it was like something came over my body that's like I knew I was going to do it. And the following term, I was in law school.
Mm.
So it is a soul calling. Ask your questions, follow your intuition, and it's okay. It's like wherever you're end up being, but that was my journey.
Yeah, what an incredible journey. And I totally agree with you. I have a degree in accounting, right? And do I use accounting as a public speaker today? No, I don't. But it is a great foundation to be an entrepreneur because now I can pull balance sheets and income statements, and I'll tell you in a second if this business is making money or not. And I don't need to depend on somebody else to do my business taxes. I do the business taxes. And so there's a huge advantage as a business owner, as an entrepreneur with that foundation. So I don't want the college students to feel like, oh, I wasted all my time getting this accounting degree or this, going to law school. No, you didn't waste it. This is all a foundation for the rest of your life. And you're going to use those skills, whether you like it or not. Those skills are going to come in handy for you. And that's what makes you great. That's what makes you you and not every other person who went to law school. Really well said. And I think our students are going to get just a really, really just a great insight from you in terms of your career journey and where you are today. And you're fearless, which I love. I think that's fantastic.
Well, I'll add that maybe not. So that's another thing too. What you said earlier of like we're afraid to fail. It's like this is one of those. It's like no, I don't. I'm not fearless, but I'm gonna go through it anyways, right? It's like I acknowledge that the fear is there's like yeah, I know there's a little fear there, but it's like what's the worst that can happen? That's actually how I talk to myself. It's like I'm not gonna die. So if I get to that point, then I'll be like, all right, let's go for it.
Yeah.
And I did want to add on your accounting. I wish I had an accounting background. See, when I entered into business, that was the side that I had to add. Did not like looking at my numbers. I felt like I was the ostrich with my head in the sand. I was like, ah. To now, it's like I'm proud of myself. But that again, you are saying that like it's a foundation. Whatever you do will be something you're going to use.
Yeah. See, that's why we would make a good team. This is why you need teams, college students. Okay. Lizette and I would be great teammates because we're strong in different areas and we complement each other, right? I'm the numbers person, so she can reach out and say, Mike, what's the number on this? And I can get it for her very quickly. So, so look to find those people that have complementary skills in building your
Yes.
team and find that other person that loves to do the stuff that you hate. Lizette doesn't want to deal with the numbers. She wants somebody else to handle that. That's okay.
Yep.
And that's why we need teams. Okay.
Yes.
This is why you can't be a lone wolf if you want to build a $25 million company. You need other people that complement you.
And
Uh,
it's kind of like, when we started of like being the nerd, because I actually wear the nerd label proudly.
yeah.
So it's like find your nerds and whatever they love to do. And you're correct of like we would compliment each other. It's like, Michael, what are you doing? It's like, okay, here's this. Cause I'm like vision, let's go. But like I need the executioners. They kick my butt all so the person that has their checklist, they kick my butt all day. But they might not, they need, they're like, hey, give me a checklist. I'm like, I'll be happy to give you one.
Absolutely. Well, this has been really, really fantastic. Now, I know that you love good food, and I get out to LA. I speak at some of the universities there in the area pretty often. So the next time I get to LA, where should I be going for a great meal these days?
Was thinking about it because it's LA, there's so many options and it's so good. But I actually went back to like family roots, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Clearmont Northwoods Inn, and they have the most amazing cheese bread and salad and steaks and it's so fun. It's like they have peanuts that you put on the floor, and it's just one of those like it's fun for the family. But that cheese bread and that salad is so yum that I have to sometimes I have to go just for that.
All right, cheese bread and steaks for me. You can have the
Yes.
salad. I'm gonna eat
Oh,
this.
believe me, even the non-salad eaters love this salad.
Okay.
This made my son, who's now 15, love salad.
I love it. All right. I'll give it a shot. I'll try it just because you like it. All right. So if our college student listeners, if they want to book you to speak on their college campus, if they want to sign up for your training programs on AI, where should they go?
Go to the website startmyaijourney.com, and you're going to find us. It's either System and Soul AI or startmyaijourney.com. That's the easiest. You're going to find me and Emmy.
Fantastic. Startmyaijourney.com. I know all the college students are going to go to your website now and sign up for all the training. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us clarity around AI. I think you answered the questions wonderfully, and I think it's going to be incredibly helpful for college students to listen to. So thank you for what you do.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm here to help.
Fantastic. All right, to our college student listeners, if you learned something today from Lizette, and I know you did because I learned like 20 things. So share this episode, grab the link, put it in a group chat with your entire fraternity or sorority, share it out on social media because you never know who needs to hear Lizette's message today. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. Bye for now.